taking the complete series, and this series is on AWS CloudWatch. Okay, so let's start with this quote. It's like benchmarking and corrective action of our system performance depends upon accurate app and infra resource monitoring. So if you don't have a accurate application and infra resource monitoring, it's useless uh, in terms of how you actually build our system, because you will not be able to find out how much resource is going to take, and it will be haywire everything. We have been doing it from the past, but nowadays when we are on the cloud, there are multiple tools which are available that can be directly connected with, and that can also be used for monitoring the in-premises application as well as on the cloud, in the hybrid cloud mode or in a multi-cloud mode. But depends upon how that cloud service provider provide the service beyond its public cloud periphery. So, so about multi-cloud, those who would not have heard in our last session is again what do we stand for. So we collect experiences of the best brain of the world in their respective areas and enable all technology practitioner leaders. We maintain the relevance and vitality of the tech community. We believe that people with passion can change the world in big and small ways. Our every tech session tries to improve your knowledge in the given area of at least 1%, that we have counted. Reciprocate what we have learned in the industry and lower entry barriers for the new entrant is our core value. Provide new technical insight to seasoned technologists to remain relevant in their profession. Foster a professional, competent, considerate, honest, and passionate community of engineers and data scientists. So the biggest uh, motto of our community is to respect each other, and that's where we celebrate each and every speaker with a unique certificate that we give, and you take, in fact. So it's at the both side, and you share with your community to make people know that there was someone that I spent an hour with him, and he was really uh, great in terms of giving me some knowledge that I can use in the future. So we ideally, you can go on mute. I think someone, Supriya, you can go on mute. Okay, Supriya, no, someone else is there. So I'm putting everyone on mute for now. Uh, Mute all. Okay, so most of the area that we cover is in our multi-cloud strategy. You can read through this blue areas, blue blocks: data science and AI, blockchain, and extreme engineering. And we have different speakers coming on. Speakers is not like a special people. There can be engineer from you. If you think that you have done something specific and you want to let the world know, you can come and connect with us. Obviously, we'll have to take care of your professional challenges and the binding with your organization. And if it's independent, it's something that you can share independently with the community. That is nothing to do with your current project uh, or binding with the company. You can come connect with us, and we'll help you and facilitate you to share your knowledge here. So this is session one. There are two sessions. One is in the I think at the end of August. This is the first one. Vinayak uh, uh, Vinayak is in Singapore at this point of time. He works with Singapore Airlines, and this is session one. This is around AWS CloudWatch by Vinayak Pandey, and we'll take an hour almost to finish this out. Vinayak, so he is a AWS and Google certified cloud architect. Uh, he's a well known infrastructure technologist who understand the cloud infrastructure from base. He is practicing AWS cloud for years, as I know, and he has done fantastic job in the past in a obviously in a hybrid scenario, in a multi-cloud scenario, and even at the AWS level where he has managed multiple layer of auto scaling and cloud monitoring. He is skilled in DevOps tool and technologies, including AWS, Python, MongoDB, MySQL, Google Cloud, Kubernetes, Docker, Jenkins, Ansible, Safe, Terraform, and Linux. And obviously, we'll get to hear more from him maybe in the next quarter. He's a senior system engineer at Singapore Airlines, and this is a LinkedIn profile. You can connect with him anytime. So I would say it's just give me a moment. I think there is something happening with. Okay, This is me, Anjani Kumar. I am inventor, leader, mentor, founder, and enabler. I have multi decades of direct service to the IT industry. I am ex-Publicis, RBS, Microsoft, and multiple other companies. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's my LinkedIn ID, Anjani K Kumar, and I'm the chief evangelist at Multicloud4u. Okay, this is where you can find the certificate for this session, and for the series will be like it will be like we'll be giving a basic certificate for this session today, and once the series get complete you will get a series certificate. So this is www.fifthir.com, and where you will claim the certificate. Just note it down, and you can also replay past event that has happened. You can claim certificate for it also. It's all there on this website. uh, Currently our session would be live there, so once the session ends it will automatically come up. So this is again the same repeat. You can go to the multicloud4u.com streams where you can find all our different channels. Telegram.im/multicloud4u is the place where you can connect with other technologies, and obviously if you have any issues on our platform, if you need to know about upcoming session, you can definitely connect with us and talk to us there. Instruction for the session: audience will be on mute for the convenience of everyone. All question will be answered at the end of the session during the Q&A round, or as chosen by the speaker during the middle of the session. So you can talk and connect with us in the middle, but just make sure that it's better that you talk and connect at the Q&A session. While in the middle you can put in your question in the chat window. Please type in all your question in the chat, but as I said, we'll read and answer all questions during the Q&A. You may ask your queries using a mic, webcam, and chat. So over to Binayak. Binayak, I will allow you to share your screen now.
Hi guys, Vinayak here. Thank you for your time, and I'm thankful to Anjani sir and Multicloud for you to provide us this platform to connect with you guys. So let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Not yet. Can you try sharing it again?
Okay.
Are you using multiple monitor or a single one?
Oh no, just a single one.
Okay, just try sharing content again. Yes. Coming up. Great. We can see
Oh.
that. Yeah. Rock and
Okay,
roll.
so as mentioned, as mentioned earlier, it's a two-part series. So today we will going through the first part of this session. So the agenda is AWS CloudWatch. So AWS CloudWatch, if you are familiar with AWS, that you must be knowing that AWS CloudWatch is a one-stop solution for AWS infra monitoring. But it is not just for AWS infra monitoring. You can use it for like multiple scenarios. And if you are like an intermediate level user of AWS, then I think you know that this is a backbone of event-driven automation on AWS cloud. So what is the meaning of this event-driven automation? So as you know that every action that you perform on AWS, whether it is like launching an instance, creating a key pair, or like creating an S3 bucket, whatever you do on AWS, that is an API call. So you can consider it as an event. So event-driven automation is that you perform certain action when a particular event happens. So we will dive deep into this in the second part of the series, when we will see how we can integrate multiple AWS services like Lambda or CloudWatch, CloudTrail, and Config to achieve like any sort of possible automation in AWS. And CloudWatch, you don't have to do any sort of setup. I mean, you get a lot of built-in metrics for this AWS related services. And if you want to know like what all metrics are published by different AWS services, then you can go through this link. I'll put it on chat. Yeah, you can go through this link to see like what are the different metrics that different AWS services exposed. So as it's not like that all the metrics will be available to your account like in the start. So as soon as you start using services, these metrics will be available. So suppose you're not using S3 bucket in your account, or you don't have like an EC2 instance in your account. So initially you won't be having those metrics available in your CloudWatch console. But the moment you launch an EC2 instance or you create an S3 bucket, these metrics will be available in your account. So as part of setup, what I have done is I have created a very minimal setup like an auto scaling group within ALB, so that I can have like some metrics available in my CloudWatch account. You can create the setup by using any of this AWS provided cloud formation template, right? So what I have as part of my setup is, if I go to this EC2, I have two running instances and I have just one load balancer. That's it. Very minimal setup, nothing fancy. Now, if I go to my CloudWatch console and if I go to metrics, I see a lot of metrics which has been exposed because these are the services which I have used. So if I have to see my load balancer metrics, I'll have to go to my this ALB namespace. And if I want to see my EC2 metrics, I'll have to select this EC2 namespace. So namespace are like a segregation of metrics based on the service type. So all the EC2 related metrics will be in a particular namespace called EC2. So these are like you can say AWS provided namespace. These are built in. I haven't created it. Same goes with application load balancer. So the moment I will launch an ALB, all the related metrics for ALB will be available under this namespace only. So let's see what are the metrics which are available at this point of time for, let's say, my ALB. So if I go to my per app ALB metrics, so these are the metrics which has been exposed for ALB, like request count, process byte, active connection count, 200 service request count, 400 service response count, these kind of things. And if I go to my EC2, I will see like CPU utilization, network utilization, disk utilization, these kind of metrics will be available for EC2. EC2 related metrics you can also see in the EC2 console itself. Like if I select one instance and select monitoring, you can see all these metrics are available. So the first thing as part of hands-on that we will do, if you can see that we don't have like any memory related or disk utilization related metric, right? So the first thing that we will do is we will set up our disk and memory related metrics because these are not available by default, right? So before moving to that, let's have a brief over the agenda of the session. So as I mentioned, this is the first part of this CloudWatch session. So it will be like this. We will start from very basic, and in the second part, we will deep dive into this CloudWatch. So today, we have already gone through this introduction to CloudWatch. We will see some CloudWatch metrics. Some of them we have already seen. We will also see how we can create our own custom metrics because right now we have seen the metrics provided by AWS, but we can create our own custom metrics. And we will see what can be the use cases of these custom metrics. We will also see how we can set up alarms based on these metrics so that we can get notified like if some metrics breaches a certain threshold, like CPU utilization goes beyond 80% or 90%, so we should get notified. So we'll see how we can set it up. And pushing custom logs to CloudWatch. So suppose we want to push like our SSH logs or Apache logs or Nginx logs to CloudWatch. So we can also do that. So it is just not like the infra metrics only. You can also push logs like we used to do with ELK and all. And the last part will be like setting up dashboard. Once we have all these metrics available, we want to set up a dashboard which will show all the relevant metrics in a single place. So that will be our agenda for today. So let's start. So first thing we'll have to do is because we are pushing metrics to CloudWatch. So we are performing some sort of API call, right? So our instance must have access to perform that particular action. So in AWS, even whatever action you want to perform, either it is via CLI, SDK, or some instance are performing, or any other AWS services performing, so they must have access, they must have like authorization to perform that action. So how we can push our metrics from an EC2 instance to CloudWatch? It's via IAM role. So we can create an IAM role, assign the relevant permission to that IAM role, and can attach that IAM role to EC2. So let's do that. So we'll go to CloudWatch, IAM console. And we will create a role. And here you can select the service which needs that access. QA, let's hold it for a while. Amar, I can see your question. So just give me like 5-10 minutes. Let me set up a few metrics. Then we can have this Q&A session. But if you want to know CloudWatch is free or paid service, so CloudWatch, you pay for that. I mean, there are a lot of, you pay for data ingestion, you pay for like dashboards, and you also pay for this custom metrics and all. So there are few things which are free as part of original setup, but there are few things which are chargeable. So which you can like search on this AWS documentation like CloudWatch pricing, and you can get all these details. So here, let's get back to the task. We need to create an IAM role for our EC2 instance. So we will select EC2. Now our role is created. I'll go back to my EC2 console and attach this role to EC2 instances. Both of our EC2 instances, I'll attach this role to. So just go to instance setting, attach replace IAM role, select my role, EC2. Where is that? This is the one. Let's verify how much memory is available, swap related metrics, cache buffer, and you can monitor disk also. You can specify, suppose if you have 4 disks attached to an instance, you can specify the path for which you want to monitor utilization and all. So I would suggest have a look at this link and how to set it up. So they have given like a very step-by-step approach to install that script. So we are using Amazon AMI. So our steps for us will be like the actual instance, actual monitoring script. So basically it's like 4 commands. So I have already placed those commands on my instance. So let me run my script. So this is, I have SSH'd into 2 of the instances that I have. So I'll execute this script installation on both of my servers. Yep, so that's it. That was pretty quick, right? So now I have this folder, AWS scripts mon, which contains all the monitoring script. And these Perl script are the main one. Get instance stats and put instance data. These are the 2 main script that we will use to, one script is for pushing the metrics and another one is to fetch the metric data, which we don't need in this use case, but if you want you can use that script. So now what? So let's first verify whether our instances are able to push metrics to CloudWatch. And how can we do it? Using this command. Just append this verify and verbose flag. So we will test it. So let's copy that command and test it on our servers. Yeah, so if you can see, our servers are able to push the metrics. So what will happen if we haven't attached this IAM role to this EC2 instance? We will get an access denied message. So if you see, the final message is verification completed successfully, but no actual metrics sent to CloudWatch, because we are just verifying whether we are able to push the metrics or not. We are not actually pushing the metrics at this point of time. Same thing we will do on our second server. So both of our servers are able to push the metrics. Now we will do the actual pushing of data to this CloudWatch. And how can we do it? It's better, as you can imagine, if we set a cron job. So that will periodically send this data to CloudWatch. So let me copy my cron setting. Yep. Let me copy this. So as you can see, what I'm doing, every 5 minutes, I'm pushing my memory utilization and my disk space utilization for my root partition. So if I see, because I only have a single disk attached to this instance, so I only have this single partition slash. So suppose you have like multiple ABS volumes attached to your instance, then you can specify all the paths here, right? So let me create my cron. On both the servers. So we won't wait for this 5 minutes. Let's run that command right now. Later on, let the cron do its job. As you can see, successfully reported metrics to CloudWatch. Now let's see whether we got the data on CloudWatch or not. Sometime it may take like few minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes before those metrics are available. Yep, so I think we got our metrics, because now you see a custom space called system Linux. So when you will be using that Perl script, it will be listed under the system Linux namespace. If you remember, previously it was not there, right? So now I got two metrics for my memory utilization, my instance ID I got, and I also got metrics for my root partition utilization, the disk utilization for my root partition. So if I select it, right now, I don't think I have data as of now. So like I said, it may take 5 or 10 minutes before that actual data is available. But since our metrics is already there, data should be here in like within few minutes. Yeah. So while this data is getting populated, we will see the next session, the next task, which is like custom metric. So before diving into this custom metrics, I mean, I can give you a few scenarios where you might need custom metrics. Like suppose you have a shell script. I think there's a question. Yeah, so like I think AWS has a new agent which is for this, like what they call as high velocity metrics. I think that is what they call. So you can refer to that also. That is for the Matthew question. Yeah. So as for custom metrics, there may be a scenario like you are executing a shell script on your server or a Python script or whatever. and you want to record whether that script got executed successfully or not, and if this script is failing, then you want to get some sort of notification, right? So what you can do is you can push the execution result of that cell script to your CloudWatch. Create a matrix, put the data. If you, I think if you are familiar with Linux, you know that if the script is getting executed successfully, the return code will be 0. Otherwise, it will something like 1 to 130, 140, other than 0. Okay. So you can capture the execution result of that script and push that to a custom matrix. And you can set up alarm that if value is greater than 0, then send me an SNS notification. That is what we will see. Another use case which I came across a couple of years. So I have to set up this Mongo monitoring. So Percona has a very good tool called Percona MMS for this Mongo monitoring, but the drawback was you cannot set it up on an SSL enabled cluster. So our cluster was running with SSL enabled. So the Percona setup was not able to connect with this Mongo cluster. So what we have to do is we have to set it up in a script, pull all the data from Mongo CLI and push it to CloudWatch metrics. After that, we were able to create our dashboard based on that metrics. So that was a very interesting use case of this custom metrics. And you can also like we mentioned in the agenda, you can also push your Apache logs, Nginx logs to this CloudWatch. From there, you can pull data like how many requests are getting 200 response, how many requests are getting 400 response, like that. You can push that data in a metric, and then you can dashboard it. So these are the few use cases of custom metrics, I would say. So let's clear my screen. Yeah, Harbak, you had a question. Set up a custom metric to monitor the number of IPsec connection. Yeah, you can write a script and push the data to your CloudWatch. You can do that. So right now I have a script which is just pulling data from an API, which is pulling data like current corona cases in India. It can be anything. It can be a simple script, which like even you can put a script or whatever, like it is creating a file, checking a file, or doing something. So it doesn't matter what this script is doing. So I'm pulling data from this API. I'm checking the status. I'm echoing it, and what I'm doing is I'm pushing this to our CloudWatch. So if you see the command that put metric data, so this is the permission that we have to add earlier. So suppose what we have done in earlier steps, suppose we haven't done this at this point of time. So we have to add this IAM role to EC2 instances, which has this put metric data permission assigned to that role. Okay. Then we have to specify the namespace like we see EC2, S3. These are the namespace to segregate these metric data. So we are creating our custom namespace called custom script. We are giving a metric name script execution result. So in like AWS provided metrics, you see metric name like request count, CPI utilization, all that. You can also add a field here, dimension, which is missing here. Dimension is like second level of segregation. So I have EC2 related metrics, then I want to see my instance level metrics. So this is like a two level of segregation. First, you are segregating based on service type, and then you are segregating based on your instance ID or like your S3 bucket, whatever it is. So what this script is doing is just fetching the result of this command execution to this CloudWatch. So at this point of time, if I run it, let's see what status code do we get. So we got a 127 status because JQ is not installed at this point of time. So let me uncomment this line and install JQ. JQ is nothing but a JSON parser that you may know. So if right now if I execute this script, okay, so I have to configure my reason also. So let's do that. US East 1. Yeah, so my script got executed successfully. I got a return code of 0. Yeah, so Harbaksh, transaction to and fro application service running inside a VM via CloudWatch. So basically, I suppose you're talking about APM. So CloudWatch is not that good with APM, I would say. It has a service, or you can say AWS has a service which is integrated with CloudWatch, which we will see in second session, called X-Ray. So which can trace this request within AWS component. So like suppose your code running in EC2 is making a call to, let's say, S3 or SQS. So that kind of things that you can track with X-Ray. But CloudWatch is not that sophisticated an APM tool, I would say. So by this time, data should be here. Let's see if we get it or not. Yeah, so finally, like we get data for our this memory and disk monitoring that we set up earlier prior to this custom metric thing. So for that, data is available as of now. Yeah. So I think this custom metric will also take some time. So let's wait for that. Limitation of CloudWatch, I would say APM is a big limitation. CloudWatch is not that sophisticated an APM tool, very limited functionality with X-ray and all. So that is one limitation I would say. Otherwise, they like I think this year or last year they added a lot of features like synthetic monitoring. They are in the like it's in a very basic stage as of now, but I think it will grow. So synthetic monitoring, canaries, all that they are adding up to their toolkit. So I think as a tool, CloudWatch is growing, definitely growing. Yeah. So while that custom namespace get generated and we get data for our this custom metrics, we don't need to waste time for that. What we can do is we can set up a dashboard because right now we have all the required metrics available related to our EC2. For the time being is set up a dashboard. We will get back to this custom metric thing. Metric section and fetch my instance IDs. No third party monitoring needed in AWS. That depend, I would say. That really depends. What are the use cases? But in general, I would say CloudWatch will suffice. But let's say you want a longer data retention. So CloudWatch metrics are provide data for 15 months and all. If you want a longer retention, that then you may have to look for other tool and something. And if you want, I would say, uh, like to dig deeper into like any metrics. So then you may have to use a third party tool. But in general, CloudWatch is sufficient to monitor your application info. That I would say. Okay, Amar, I think that answers your question, but that statement is definitely not true that no third-party monitoring needed in AWS. That depends. For example, if you want to monitor SSL expiration, so I don't know any feature of CloudWatch which can do that, which can monitor this SSL expiration thing. So that is just one of many examples. So let me copy my instance ID and let me go to EC2. So suppose I want CPI utilization. Okay, so this graph is available to me for the CPI utilization for one of my instances, and I want to add this graph in a dashboard. So I will create a dashboard. Right now I don't have any dashboard, so let me create one. I will name it my application. My widget type is line, let it be like that, and widget title CPI utilization. So what I will do, I'll append my instance ID. And what is wrong, I have to create this dashboard. Yeah, it got created. Let me add it to my dashboard and let me save it. Similar thing I'll do with my other instance. Let me copy the ID. So let me select the metric. I'll unselect this metrics for time being. I'll cross it. Yep. Again, I'll add to dashboard. This time I won't create a new dashboard because I already have a dashboard, and dashboard are chargeable. Save it. So my CPI metrics are there. Let me select my memory metrics. We did a lot of work to get them here, so why not utilize them? Let's do it one by one. Is this the right one? No. Yeah, save dashboard. Now add memory for other instance. And I'll add just one more metrics for my ALB. So I'll go to application ALB, select per app ALB metrics, and I'll select suppose request count. That's it. Yeah, so you can add like further metrics to this dashboard, like disk utilization that we added, or you want to have a metric based on this healthy instance count, and also you can add those metrics as well. So that is how a dashboard will look like, which you and you can create it. and you can select this auto refresh so that data will get refreshed so that you can have like a real time view kind of thing. So our custom metrics is still not there. So let's do one thing. We can select, we can schedule a cron for that and hope it will get populated within a minutes. So I'll schedule another cron. Yeah. Still not there. So let's wait for a while. What is the cron job you're doing? It is just my script. I have scheduled a cron job for that. So what, as I mentioned, what this script is doing, it is just running a command, pulling data from an API, and we are fetching like storing the result of that command in a variable, and we are just putting that variable value. So suppose if my script is executed successfully, then it will push the value 0 to my custom metrics. That is what it is doing. Nothing fancy. Yeah. So next thing that we will see are CloudWatch alarms, which are like pretty integral feature of this monitoring thing, right? So suppose having data is a good thing. You have all these metrics, you have all these dashboards, but you'll have to take action based on this data. So suppose my CPI utilization is too high, I'll have to take some action. My ALB is throwing a lot of 500 errors, so I'll have to take some action. I'll have to get at least notified so that I can know that something is wrong with my setup, something is wrong with my infra. So for that, we'll have to set up all these alarms. So we can create, we can take like any of these metrics which are available, and we can set alarm based on that. And in order to get notified, you have to have like an SNS topic created. So let me create an SNS topic. How long do CloudWatch metrics last? Up to 15 months, I would say. What is the difference between CloudWatch and CloudTrail? CloudTrail locks your API call. So suppose you have created an instance. So in CloudTrail, you can see that a particular user or a particular access key issued an API call to create those EC2 instances or S3 buckets. So we will see in our second session how you can integrate this CloudWatch and CloudTrail to have some sort of automation in your environment. So suppose you created an EC2 instances of suppose M5X large, but you are not supposed to create such instances. Suppose you are having like a dev environment or like a POC environment where you are not supposed to create such instances, but you create it. So that will be logged in CloudTrail, and you can process that information based on your CloudWatch rules and using Lambda that someone has created an M5 large instance in your account. So you can take corrective action, like you can notify the admin of your AWS account, or you can even terminate the instances. Is CloudWatch enabled by default? Yes, like I mentioned, as soon as you start using AWS services, all the metrics related to that particular service you can see on the CloudWatch console. So you don't have to like enable, disable anything. Yeah, Amar, you are correct that CloudTrail is for auditing purpose. So I've created one SNS topic with my email. Now I can create alarms based on that. So let me select, I will select let's say this metric only. So I want to notify when my memory utilization goes beyond a certain threshold. So I can create a alarm on that. Suppose it's greater than 5. For just demo purpose, I'm setting it up to 5. In your real world environment, you will set up 80, 85 based on your experience. Like if you are not getting certain spikes, you can set it up on up to 85, 90. But if you are encountering that, like suddenly I am getting a huge memory spike, then you will set it up on a lower threshold like 70, 75, something like that. I will select my SNS topic, and that's it. And what happened to my alarms? Did I miss something? Yeah, so previously I didn't click on that. Which of the following OS is currently supported on the CloudWatch log agent? So if we go to the documentation, so supported system, you can see Amazon Linux, Red Hat Linux, SUSE, and Ubuntu. So I think it covers pretty much all. So right now I've created my alarm, but it is in insufficient state because it doesn't have that data. It is right now fetching that data. It's trying to figure out the current state of this alarm. So it will take a couple of minutes before it can decide like whether it is in OK state or alarm state. So if you have done any sort of auto scaling, if you have set up auto scaling on AWS, then you must be knowing that even auto scaling works on these alarms. So you set when you set up auto scaling, you create a couple of alarms like if my CPU utilization is greater than 80, then launch one instance. If my utilization is less than 40, then decommission one agent at all. Yeah, so my custom namespace is still not here. Not sure why it is taking this long. Oh, I got it. I set it up region as US East, if you guys remember, and I'm looking in Mumbai region. So that is why we are not seeing this custom namespace here. So if you see here, I got my custom script, right? So right now I'm in my US East region. So right now the data that I'm pushing to my matrix is 0 because our metric is our script is getting executed successfully. So what I'll do now is I'll install this JQ package so that my script will throw this 127 code, and we will see that. So let me install this JQ, and after 5-10 minutes we will see that we will get a spike in this metric. So that was a pretty hilarious thing. So we were in Mumbai region, and I set it up a region as US East 1 when we configure this AWS CLI. So let us go back to Mumbai region. So the alarm that we have set up is in alarming state because we set up if memory utilization is greater than 5%, then I should get notified. And right now my metrics is way beyond that, is way above 5%. So if I see, my memory utilization is approx 7%. That is why this is in alarm state. If I added it to, like, see, 10%, it should be gone in a while. The data is still 0. When it will be executed next time, we will see the spike 127 and all. So based on this, you can set up an alarm. So suppose if my value is greater than 0, I should get notified. So if my this script is failing, my execution end code will be greater than 0, and alarm will notify us. So that is how we can monitor the execution of our shell script. Let me go back to our agenda. Yeah, Sayed, hi. So we have covered like 1, 2, 3, and 6. Only fifth one is remaining. So let's do that. Can you do transaction tracing? So like I said, you can utilize AWS X-Ray, but there's one major drawback of X-Ray is you have to integrate X-Ray SDK into your application. So if you have any idea about APM tools like App Dynamics or Dynatrace, there you don't have to do anything. You just install agent and they will start picking up this APM metrics. But here you'll have to integrate your X-Ray SDK in your code. So that is a major drawback. And apart from that, it cannot do that level of APM tracing which App Dynamics or Dynatrace can do. So I would say it has a very limited feature in terms of APM monitoring and all. But if all your infrastructure is on AWS only, so are you making call to S3, SQS, SNS, RDS and all, then X-Ray can suffice. But again, that you have to modify your code to include to that SDK, use that SDK API to call the function. So suppose you are executing a piece of code, then you have to start like a start transaction, then execute your code, then end transaction. These kind of blocks you have to set it up in a code. It cannot give your out-of-box APM monitoring like AppD or Dynatrace can do. Yeah. So the last thing that is remaining is pushing custom logs to CloudWatch. So that what we will do. What we will do is we will push our SSH logs to CloudWatch. So just like we did for this Perl script, again we have to set up CloudWatch agent. So let me sneak into my notes. How do we do that? How do we install CloudWatch agent? Let me copy these steps to one of my server. I won't do it on both the server just to save some time. Let's do it on server 1. That is clear. Let's run this wizard. Let's see what they are asking. Which OS are you planning to use the agent? Ours is a Linux one. Are you using EC2 or on-prem? You can use this agent on your on-prem server also. Ours is an EC2. Let's select that. Which user are you planning to run the agent? Let's select root. I think in the production system we won't do that, but here we can do. Do you want to turn on stat cdaemon? I don't know what is that. I don't want to turn it on. Do you want to metrics on collect D? No, not required for this case. Any host metrics? No, I already have those metrics. Do you have any existing CloudWatch log agent? No, this is the first time I'm installing this agent. Do you want to monitor any log files? Yeah, obviously yes. That is why I installed this agent. Let me select it. Log path is word log secure. That is our SSH logs. Log group name. Let me select what I have put in my notes. Log group name is SSH logs. Yep. Let me select it. Default choice instance ID. Yep. Do you want to specify any additional log file to monitor? No, that is enough. Do you want to store the config and SSM? No, I don't want. Okay, so this will create a kind of configuration file which you can use, which this CloudWatch agent will use, right? So now we have to start the agent. Again, let me sneak into my notes. How do we start this agent? Yep, so my agent is running. What are the alternatives to CloudWatch? A lot of tools. You can use NagOS, Datadog, and a lot of infra-related monitoring tools, open source monitoring tool like Graphite. Yeah, you can use Prometheus also. So you can use this node exporter of Prometheus and all. Yeah, but the cool thing about CloudWatch is that you don't have to set up anything. You don't have to like monitor anything, whether your Prometheus is running, whether you have space or DB space available to store those metrics and all. So that's up to you how you want to do it. A lot of enterprises use Datadog for that. A lot of startups will use NagOS for that. That depends upon use case what you want to do. But I think for this infra-related monitoring, CloudWatch should suffice. So let's see if we got anything. So before we move, let's check the status of our custom metrics, whether we got that spike or not. Not yet. Maybe it will take some more time before CloudWatch can show that data. It is pretty slow. I'm experiencing a bit of slowness. I think because my account is not an enterprise account, it is just a personal account. Maybe because of that, because in my like production environment, I haven't seen this kind of delay. JQ is not fine, so data should be there in any minute. Let's see. Is it capable of monitoring containers, Lambda services? Yes. Containers, we will see in our second session how you can monitor your EKS cluster with Container Insight, if you can see this. So this is the feature that they launched to monitor this EKS, and I think ECS is also supported. Lambda serverless, you can monitor. Yeah, definitely Lambda related metrics will be there like any other service. But like I said, if your Lambda is doing a lot of APM related things, like it is calling few APIs and all, so it may not be that good. So that you have to explore on case by case basis, I would say. But EKS and all you can definitely monitor. We will see in our second session for sure. So again, it will take some time before that data is available. So this is one of the previous instances for which I have set up this log. So you can see these are the logs from warlog secure. It will stream that file to this CloudWatch. So you can see all your SSS related events in CloudWatch. And suppose, and you can also set alarms based on that. You can create metrics on that. So suppose I want to know my failed SSS login, so I can see that whether someone is brute forcing into my system. So I can create metrics based on these data. So let us see that how we can do that. So you can see a field called create metric filter. So you can parse your data. Like if you are familiar with ELK and all, you can parse your data with log stash and all. Similar thing you can do with CloudWatch also, where you define a pattern based on your data and pull the required information. So filter pattern, let me copy what can be the filter pattern for this SSH related logs. Now you will ask how I get this pattern. Okay, so if you see my SSH data, this is my SSH log data. It is representing a month, day. It is representing a day, timestamp, the IP. So we are what we are doing is we are creating chunks of that data. We are creating chunk of that data based on a pattern. So for SSH related thing, I have a handy link which you can use. Where is that? I think I'll have to search it again. I'll put it over. Where can I put it? I will put it over Telegram chain, but you can also search like how to monitor SSH failed login with AWS. It will give you your AWS documentation, which will explain in detail how you can pass that data. So from there, I got to understand how I can pass my SSH data and create this pattern, right? So based on this data, I got like two matching events. One is this user JSY, one is user EC3 user. So I got two failed attempts to my SSH service. Then I can click on next. These are just a simple filter name. I can give like SSH failed login metric namespace. I can give another SSH failed login. This will create a namespace. Metric name I can give invalid. Yeah, failed SSH. Metric value 1. So suppose if I got a matching entry, it will put value as 1. Otherwise, default value will be 0. So if my pattern is not matching any value in and pattern is not matching with my records, so value it will put value as 0. But if I got a matching entry, I will get a value of 1. So as you can imagine, I can set up alarm based on that. So suppose my metric name will be failed SSH. As soon as the value is greater than 0, send me an SNS notification. So which will imply that somebody's SSH login is failing, so I'll have to check my SSH logs whether it is a genuine user or it is some sort of brute force attack is happening on my SSH service. Create metric filter. So right now my filter is ready. Yeah. So right now, since my metric and this namespace is not available, again it will take some time. So once that is available, I can see data here. So it may take 10-15 minutes. I don't know. CloudWatch is misbehaving a bit for a couple of days, I would say. What are the questions? I'm talking about a topic that is a certificate in section 1. Yes, definitely. I think Anjani sir can answer all the certificate related queries in a couple of minutes. I'll hand over the session to him. How to use CloudWatch metrics with Lambda? You don't need to do anything in order to use CloudWatch metrics with Lambda. If I have some Lambda setup, let me go to that. CloudWatch can monitor AWS database. Yeah, every AWS service you will get RDS related metrics for in CloudWatch. So let's see if I go to this Lambda. If I go to monitoring section, I can see a lot of details. How many times this Lambda was invoked, duration, how many times it got executed successfully, how many times it failed, any throttling happening with this Lambda, async delivery failures, iterator age, concurrent execution, all this. You can CloudWatch also put it logs in. Lambda puts its log in CloudWatch, so you can put queries on that to fetch data. So if I go to, not sure whether it was executed or not. Let's see if we have any logs for this Lambda. Yeah, this Lambda I think was not executed. Let's select another one. So these are like it will be prefix based AWS Lambda. So let's select this one, and we have all the execution related logs here. So it will give you all the details. You can put your console.log or print a statement in order to, like, if you want to put any data in these logs. So all these records will be logs will be recorded in CloudWatch. These are called logs and logs group. So they are default metrics. Yeah, these are default metrics. And the link I shared earlier, you can go through that to see like what are the metrics available for different AWS service. Yeah. Yeah, so right now, if you can see, because I uninstalled JQ, my script was not executing successfully because it was fetching data and then JQ was parsing it. So right now I got a spike 127. If I execute that script right now, it will give me an exit code of 127. So let me do that. 127. Again, if I install JQ, again it will give me a status code of 0, and I can see within minutes the same data in my CloudWatch. So you can see that we can create alarms based on that. So as soon as like this metric is greater than 0, that means my script is failing and I need to get notified. So that's pretty much all I would say. Yeah, so I'll say that you guys can create a trial account in AWS. If you don't have, you can create a trial account on AWS and play with few of these things. For this custom matrix, data is still not here, so we won't wait for it. You can try it, and if you guys face any sort of issue, you can ping me over LinkedIn. I'll definitely respond to your queries. And with that, I'll hand over the session to Anjani sir. So that's all from my side, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, guys.
I have one thing to update. So Binayak, you can announce the speaker code that I said. Um,
Yeah, the most important thing.
yes. So obviously Binayak will announce the speaker code. I will be like we'll be able to support for this event later also. There is some issue with our service provider. So like last session it was done okay. Everyone was able to claim his certificate, but currently our one of our node is down. So we're trying to get that up. So once that is up, we'll inform you on our Telegram channel. You can be connected, and maybe like you can claim the certificate anytime. We have your data. So if you ask us, we'll take some time, but we'll respond with the speaker code those who have attended the session. And if you have put your email in the during the what do you say um, during joining the WebEx, or at least we have your name, right? So it's already recorded, we can find out. So
Yeah,
this is
guys.
the
So
Telegram channel, and Vinayak is already announcing the speaker code. Just note it for this session, and once we inform you that we are up and live and working, you can claim your certificate. Yeah, Vinayak.
Uh, yeah, guys. So speaker code is capital A for Australia, capital B for Britain, 8 like 6 plus 2, R or for Russia, M for Malaysia. So let me repeat it. Capital A, capital B, 8, capital R, capital M. I hope everybody got it.
So capital A, can you repeat? And
Capital A,
capital
capital B,
capital B, A
numeric
B, yeah,
numeric numeric 8 and
8,
RM.
AB 8 RM, all caps,
Yeah,
and 8 is
all
numeric, right?
caps.
A for apple, B
Correct,
for
correct.
bat, 8, R for Russia, M for Mumbai.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, just note it down, and just stay connected with this Telegram channel. Once we are live, once we are back, we'll update you. Thank you everyone, and the recording will already be there on our YouTube channel. And that's why those people who are working on live, like we are on the live channel on the Fifth IR portal, suddenly this isn't stopped. But obviously in the parallel it was running on YouTube and Facebook and other platform, so people would not have found much issue. Thank you
Great.
guys. Yeah,
To
yeah.
continue, it's very nice session. Anjani, can I talk to you later on this?
Yes, Dheeraj, please.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, um, Vinayak.
Yeah, thanks all.
Thank you, Binayak. Thanks for your time. That's really fantastic and great session.
Thank you all. Bye.
कनेक्ट हो गया